Their words, my words. Talk is cheap, but it's all we got because practice is closed. It's the hodgepodge.
Definitely. I feel like chicken Alfredo. Definitely,
Been a minute, so this will be a recap of week 2 of spring football. First things first, I think he's on to us. At no point were the words good work day uttered in succession, but that doesn't mean Mike Norvell wasn't feeling good about the work. In fact, last Tuesday he rattled off nearly a half dozen standouts without provocation.
James Williams has had a really good last 2 days in pads. I've been really pleased with some of the early strides from Tay Diggs, Jonte McCray. Darrell looked good. Amari Williams, has really started off primarily more on the defensive side, trying to get that foundation. I think as we talked about before we started spring, and I'm seeing him get better with every rep that he gets. Offensive side, I think the tight end room's really done a nice job here. I've been pleased with Randy coming in. Marquiston, it looks as good as he's been since he's been here. Landon's working to take a good step here, and a guy that been really impressive is Chase Lofton. Andre Otto up front, is a guy that's been here, but you're really seeing the confidence in him. You start to emerge.
And that was just the opening statement. P.S. Over under 9.5 catches for Chase Lofton. Anyways, that's certainly a good sign, yet there's always a little bit of politics at play at the podium from the president of the operation, which is what makes the praise given by Earl Little on that same Tuesday carry a lot more weight.
The dudes on the offensive side of the ball, especially the newcomers at skill positions, who has stood out, who has proven to be like, oh, that's different, that's going to play this year?
It's quite a few of them, actually. But, me specifically, I just want to point out one person that I like, Boggs.
Okay,
freshman, I like him a lot. He's strong at the top of his route, so, he knows how to create separation. And he likes to talk a lot of trash, too, so, I like that about his game.
Who's been the toughest receiver to go against so far?
Toughest receiver? I say Hakeem. Hakeem for me right now, yeah. Hakeem's been pretty nice, yeah.
Oh, man, I hope you enjoyed that, you Hakeem truthers. We're all hoping alongside you. In fact, the hopium hit a little different on Saturday when the clear-spoken and charismatic Tony White laid down high praise and lofty expectations on a trio of defenders.
I mean, D-Jack can literally be the top defensive lineman in the country. Like, Earl has made some of the biggest hits and some of the best plays all camp. You know what I mean? Like, he is him. You know what I mean? He is truly him back there. Jabril, and he plays confident. He makes the next play, but then he misses a play, and then he gets 3 or 4 plays in a row where he's kind of down. It's like, bro, you an NFL DB, man. You don't need to be down. Like, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, you an NFL DB, man. You don't need to be down. Like, it's going to happen. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, Jabril Rawls, 3-star defensive back from a high school of 660 students whose offers were from Troy, Southern Miss, West Virginia, and Boston College. Apparently future NFL cornerback. So what has gotten into the young man? Well, 9 pounds of lean muscle. He's playing at 185 after tipping the scales at 176 last year.
It definitely does a difference. Me just being more faster, more physical. Because last year I didn't have this much weight on, so last year I was kind of getting pushed around, I felt like. But this year, yeah, I felt like me with the weight I put on, it does a big difference.
Everyone, meanwhile, hoping for a big difference in offensive production. A large part of that will factor moving at a faster clip in operating. However, the hurry-up will have to wait a little longer before the full Gus Malzahn experience can be unleashed.
Yeah, we have been slower to install, trying to develop a foundation, and then trying to evaluate. I just want it to be where our guys don't have to think so much that we can't evaluate them, so they can play football. So, that there's not a whole lot of scheming going on. It's more of installing your plays, trying to get really, really good at the foundation. Hopefully the second part of spring we'll try to get a little fancier and all that, but, this is a base offense at this time.
One thing that has been apparent is an attitude and sense of confidence that is starting to shine through from the offense. In fact, it's captured the attention of the man tasked with extinguishing that swagger.
He's one of the best in the country, period. I feel like if I can be prepared for that and what we go against every day, then chances are we're going to be just fine. I give him mad respect. Just schematically wise, just what he's doing, but also like you feel the attitude over there. Like you feel like an attitude, and that's the thing. Like that's the thing that's hard to combat. You know what I mean? Schematically wise, you can gain an advantage here and there with an extra guy, but when a team believes, when an offensive side or the defense side, they believe they're better than you are, that's the thing that's hard to overcome. You know what I mean? And so you can see that attitude that's starting to take shape over there with Tommy and Coach Malzahn and his staff, and it's fun to watch. Iron sharpens iron, right?
Meanwhile, the buzzwords for the players center on cohesion and leadership as they try to quickly integrate a slew of transfers who will be heavily relied upon. And so far, it sounds like everyone is doing their part to make this work.
After a season, a team has needs, and they bring guys in, and it's on you to, on the coaches and on us to mesh and, come together as a unit. So I think that we're doing our best. I think the whole team's doing their best. There's new guys everywhere. And I think that the best thing for us is that those guys, all the guys that have been here, really embraced us. And I think that just makes the whole process so much easier, as opposed to if we came in and we were, they weren't, as forgiving or caring about us, looking out for us, making sure we're on the right track. It's the complete opposite. They're looking out for us and they're making sure, that we're doing the right stuff. And I think that makes the whole process easier.
Lastly, it's now been 2 weeks of Mike Norvell's CEO. He's always been mobile at practice, jumping, running from unit to observe. But with seasoned, proven coordinators, has that changed Norvell's ability to coach with more intention?
I do. I think there's that's one of the things I've really enjoyed, about this. And you say the last couple months, this is just the winter program, spring, as we're getting into it. Being able to take times and go and sit in with the defense staff, be on the just a little bit more involved in making sure that the standard's being hit.
The answer was from a question from Warchant managing editor Ira Schofel. So come home to Warchant.com to get stories crafted by him and much more for only $1 a week for a whole year. And if you act now, we're even going to throw in a $20 gift card to Garnet and Gold. FSU back at it on Tuesday. Check out Wake Up, JCS, and everything else in the interim. And hit the thumbs up, please.